Right, I'm going to be working on my build plate, hopefully to be a hotbed. Now this is a Black & Decker jobber, had this quite a long time. It's basically like a vice, and you can adjust each side. It has these things in for round objects. Two metal plates. Quite often I'll just put stuff in here because it is basically wood. You can adjust these different things, put these pegs in, put things on. Very good. It's stood on a baby bath stand, that's what it's stood on. With a couple of wing nuts in. I would suggest we want some gloves on. And also some safety goggle things. So basically what I've got here is 2 sheets of aluminium, and that's why I've got gloves on, because these are guillotine cut, they're cut with a guillotine, and quite often they'll leave a bare on, a very sharp edge on. And there's usually you get these only one side coated, as these are. And here's another one, and this I've already deburred this one. But sometimes it gets scratches on one side, and that's almost what I put this coating on. This is different type of coating, as you see, to protect the other side and keep it shiny. So don't take that coating off until you're really ready to take it off. Generally they just can peel off. That has already been deburred, had the sharp edges took off. This almost just looks like a piece of cellophane plastic or whatever. Yeah. So let's do the deburring. Very sharp these edges, or can be extremely sharp actually. Just making sure this is getting in the camera. This has wooden on this, so it's not going to really damage. Line it up a bit. Careful reaching over, because as you're reaching over like I'm doing there, you could cut yourself on the edge. And then this is just what I call quite a fine file, half round file. And basically my action is to almost draw it across backwards, not pushing forwards, just so it's just like this, and almost dragging it. Let me do that a little bit from the side, hopefully you can see this. Maybe supporting the aluminium a bit. Because to a certain extent all we're trying to do is remove the very sharp edge there. Do that first a few times. If I turn it this way, you might even see some of the almost aluminium filings come off. Try moving this light a bit. You might see some of the, down here there's some fine aluminium filings. And that's one reason you want, yes, you do want these on in case any of these filings do shoot up. It is always possible. A bit unlikely, to be honest, I think. You have to watch this end here, this corner, because it's easy to miss it. And then same on this side, even though this still has a coat on it. Maybe finish off with it. See, if I try and push forward, it's actually catching this quite a bit, and it might even leave like a score marking or quite a deep grooving. But by going backwards, it's just enough to take most of the sharp edges off. Now this might take quite a few goes. So that's basically that side done. Let me have a feel of this. Still pretty sharp, that actually. So I probably want to do that a bit more, maybe finish off some sandpaper along there, but I'm going to do turn around and the other edges do basically exactly the same there. So that's my technique of sort of deburring, getting some of the sharp edges off. So let's go over with sandpaper after this. I'll probably show you this, but I'm going to do the other sides first, the other four and the other sheet. So I've been round all these four edges on the sheet, and I'm just going to do very lightly, and it is very lightly, forward and back a little bit, almost like a saw. So that's extremely light. I aren't really putting any pressure on that at all, and that's probably what you want to be not doing. Don't put too much pressure on it, okay, because it's going to, the file might dig in. And the corners, another reason you want gloves on, just to take the corner off a little bit. And my fingers on the gloves to guide where the file's going. Again, sometimes coming backwards, and then like do that all the way around, finish off with sanding, which I might actually show you, I don't know. So a bit more of a technique is almost do a sweeping, instead of coming back, going to go forward, but not too heavy. Again, at a bit, holding the file at an angle, so I'm not coming straight down. Move that light about a bit. It's almost like a sweeping movement. Now that tends to leave it a bit rougher actually. You want to move forward, and it's like a saw, the teeth are almost going in one direction. So again, I might finish off with coming like the sweeping backwards, holding the file at quite a oblique angle there, not straight up and down. And this corner here. Sometimes after doing the corners you want to like file the corners a bit at a bit of an angle, because it can almost get them to almost mushroom up in a way. Right, I'll just show you the sanding briefly. So I've got some heavy grit sort of sandpaper here. And basically it's just continue that all the way around all the four edges, doing the corners, all the four corners, do the other sheet, and that's basically what's to it. Right, I've just finished off this sheet, sand, well, same as the other sheet, file and then sand. What I would, well, I was going to call it a draw file, where you're drawing a file at a bit of an angle. Notice that tendency for the teeth in a way to go on a slant as well on these. So the slant is always going in this direction, turn it round. It's almost like the slant is almost going, well, almost level with that. So the slant on here is almost like level with the edge, drawing it back. And then just lightly, be very careful if you're touching the edges, because there could still be sharp bits. It is possible if you missed a bit or whatever, but that is pretty smooth there and compressed quite hard there. Okay, so that's my own personal deburring technique for these aluminium sheets. You might be able to see some of the almost like sawdust, metal dust down here of the aluminium. It's there. Be careful with this as well, hover it up. You don't want to breathe it in. And aluminium can be explosive, aluminium powder, or burst into flames, so be very careful what you're doing with such things. It can be a lot more dangerous than what people think and believe. Just look up thermite, I think it is, on the internet and stuff like that.